Greetings and welcome back. It is now wintertime, and we have finished some projects. Now we are in a very nice place for where we are at. As you can see, we've done a number of we've done a number of liberations. Most of the area is ours now. It's going to be trickier taking on the Ashigaru, and then of course taking on our samurai leader here. And that'll be the ultimate culmination of our quest lines. We have finished up a number of these. We'll have to finish up the quest for... Actually, asking him about this isn't going to do much for us. I'm curious what it'll do in the end, though. And these we've left open so we can do a flyby of the village at the end. And now we're just aiming for Dynasty 19, and we're not that far off. Now our needs are obviously in disarray because of me being in disarray. So let's fix that. Alright, first and foremost, knowing exactly what season it is for everything is always important, so that's key. So when I look here, let's check our needs. We are clearly in a need for spiritual, which we can let go because we have lots of spiritual goods. So I can leave that one kind of sit. Now the tavern is another one that's worth looking at. Luxury we can let sit because we have lots of goods, obviously, as well. Security can't. They don't allow us to... Well, it's not really worth using the weapons in storage. Health is huge, obviously. That's a big deal. So let's get some of those things fixed. So maintenance is going to be big, only in the sense that we have kind of an issue with that one. So let's start with the easiest place first, and that's going to be our oil setup. Next thing that really stands out to me as a I need this is it's time to dig in on some of these other things that aren't getting worked on. That's got to be cured. There we go. Now in this tab, in the jobs tab, I can only select the people from the actual area, which is rather handy. We're going to get quite a bit of stone out of this deal, especially with steel tools. That's going to allow us to take care of a lot of this. And this is where things are going to live for us. We're really going to need quite a bit. I don't really need the smelter anymore. Now, mosquito repellent. So we're shy on lotus seeds and tea leaves. That's unfortunate. Now, we do have lots of lotus root, so we can go back to burn ointment for now. And that does pretty well for us for our needs. Okay, now we get into things where it's vital. I have a source of paper. And then what I also need is paperwork. Perfect. This is exactly what we need. That starts the entire supply chain for our paper maker, and is where we're going to begin our whole process here. Alright, when I look at the paper train, because we do have a good setup here, we have almost enough to make 2 sets of paper per season, that we can have both. We can have 2 rotations worth, as in I can have pulp for one and pulp for another, 2 full sets of people completing paper. The only thing we are missing is a second boiler and more drying racks, but that's okay because we can take care of that as well. Now we did consider that we'd probably be able to fit that there. Okay. And now we're stuck in that space where we're low on stone. And let me guess, we're almost in the... No, it's just morning still. Perfect. Alright, I'm going to save you the trouble of watching me gather a ton of stone because we know that we need a lot of it. I am going to go out there and I am going to gather all the stone. We of course will take on another person because we cannot leave people idle and trying to survive in this harsh world. There we are. I wanted to double check what we had available. So I'm going to go here to Player Village 3, our future coastal area, and I'm going to expand I am going to expand homes and housing. As much as this is an outpost, it's still a vital part of our supply as well. And while it may not be much for now, this is very much kind of thought of as kind of an outpost, a stationing, something that's getting us closer to what it actually will be later on. Let's switch that out right away. Now we are getting more and more straw, but I think we'll have to work on. And that's exactly where we're at. Alright. With that, I'm going to gather up a bunch of stone, and I will see you take a moment to appreciate the lighthouse up there. It is beautiful, and I do love how much we can change the landscape in our areas. There we are. Covered by the trees. It looks nice. The Sogi's always got lots of stone, so I figured I'd just come here and gather things up. Gather some off the walkway as we're going. And then we can easily wrap it up by gathering some more stone from these stones. And we're back. I have gotten a large collection of stone. The Sasogi area has a lot of good stone in it, and just a lot of stone available. Let's start off with our better beds, and then we'll come back through here to gather these up now. Gathering up grass is easy. Getting more straw is also just as easy. Just a matter of actually taking the time to make these straw stations for drying. There we are. Now you are set here, and we can get you in a place where you can make more chisel stone, because that's clearly the thing we need most of. I ended up with 200 plus stone, so we should be in a really good space here. Definitely dropped some sticks in here, and that was not intentional. Look at it, making a mess. Who does this? Alright, back into the jobs again. Now, we do have a second paper boiler. Soon, anyway. Alright, now that we've finished the second boiler. Okay, firewood was an issue. This is okay, because we can take care of that. There we go, we got Mata in here. Now we do need a couple of things fixed, which is that I need to get that. Do need to make sure we have the firewood. For now, we're going to just churn and burn with our worker, our person, we're going to let our hero take care of this. Let Kuroi-Ran just make a bunch of firewood for a while, because this will take care of the setup for now. We're essentially just putting this in an injection of resources into our supply chain, and then after this it's going to be nothing but letting it automate it and go. Should have done this before, and obviously I was way more focused on just getting through the storyline and doing the fighting, because that's a lot of what's fun in this game. And this would have been in their time in Ichizen. That's where a lot of the learnings of becoming a master of a village would have set in. Ichizen would have been the place they've spent the most time and had the most freedom, and the time where Kuroi-Ran and Akko had the best of their relationships, fleeing, trying to get through places, getting through the mountain ranges out of Mino and then Omi, and not spending a long time in Mino nor Omi, given the challenges of Nobunaga's forces traveling through his aggressive expansion, and trying to find peace in a place that they could survive. Had driven them to just needing a time to settle, a time that really required rest, and this was a long autumn, I guess we could say, for them, before things really changed for the worst, and then they had to flee to the Nata Valley. White paper, we were good there. Boiling barrel, now we're set. We just need more paper bark. That's going to take some time. Now we don't have paper pulp, so our supply chain is disrupted because we don't have boiled paper bark. That will be next time around, so I'm not going to be able to assign paper beating tables. Now, I wrote all these things down because obviously I'm sitting here in a spot where I know I should have done this before. Pulp is missing. We are going to have to wait on that one. And again, it looks like we are going to produce this. That's the edge of what we can do with this. Wash paper sheets. We will need another paper making tool, but we already have it. And we don't have these. We do have this. So now we can get this all set. Helps to have a worker. And that's it. That's our last worker we can assign from this region. Now I should make sure that they don't consume paper, that way I don't have to worry about this. Alright, next step. Can I assign workers here? No. Bad spot for that. So then we find our different carpentry stations here. It's good, I do want those premium. We want those. We need another carpentry station that's not related to this supply chain. You know what? We had one of these getting conifer logs, so no. it's time to get firewood. There we go. That takes care of our part of the chain there. And then the last thing is to make sure we have the tools sitting around for a long enough period of time that we don't have to worry about it anymore. How about that? Forgetting our little details. Alright, from here, I am more interested in us making sure that we have everything finished. Then we can roll through and take care of small quests and things like that. Now, drying racks, I'm going to make a collection of them. At some point, it is nice to just have that go. Down E and drop all those things in there. And now it's time to take care of the background things that need to happen. It's nice to have a series of steering tools, paper beaning tools, and whatnot. Alright, that's more than enough of them. And then we get some paper beating mallets. And of course, first time you craft anything, you always get a bonus. You get a quick little injection of experience for doing it the first time. Now we obviously have somebody making rope right now. A loom, which is handy. We'll use rope for a lot of different things. Nice that they store in stacks. The last thing is, let's make some more buckets, because I know that we have a lot of workers in the wells. At some point you don't have to go too crazy on buckets, because it's really only when we as a main character drop buckets in there that's a big deal, and I have 112. I think we'll be okay for a good bit. Heating is still an issue. Let's double check and make sure that we don't have anything missing. Sure enough we do. So this one, I'm noticing that I have heating needs at a loss. This could be a good place for us to look into this. Canola at 3. Let's try some things. It would be very convenient if we had a farming trader who showed up. I know that we can go to Aratani and gather a number of things. And I know somebody has to comment in one of my other videos about where do you get certain resources. And if anything has to do with farming, it is right here in Aratani. Ooh, lotus seeds would be just fine, thank you very much. So let's go for that. Farming trader is great for that, but your herbs trader, that is who you're going to get a lot of great resources through. Because this is everything you could possibly need for any of your potions and whatnot. And for tea leaves, which they were asking specifically about, here we are. So even though it's wintertime, and even though I can't get, and healers, yep. Even though I can't actually get any of this out of my crops, I can certainly come here and buy tea leaves, so we can take care of the rest. Now, let's get back. As we wrap up getting our village into a good place, I know that I find myself in this spot quite a bit, which means that I know that I will definitely come back to this spot a lot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place a couple of things here that would be helpful for me to see, so that every time I come through here, I always check these drying racks. And this way, I know that I'm going to build up quite a bit of extra straw, since we have a lot of grass going on now. Perfect. Right, we need to make one more drying table, or drying station. Then we're set. Ooh, definitely not in front of the door. In front of the ramp may not be the best, but it will work. Let's get the drying rack here. And you're in the way, friend. That's too bad. See if we can just put it right here. It looks like you're working with it. Perfect. Right, now with that, we can finish up our last job here. And the other issue I saw that we were running into is... no, we actually can't have room for that. The other issue I found is that we need actually more processing. We need more people processing paper. Paper bark, that is, out of our workstations. We can do that anywhere, which is convenient. So I think we'll put that here. Alright, I decided that we're going to put something here. We can expand this area and have two woodcutter huts next to each other. That way we can do more work here. That's gonna do it. Perfect. Now we also need to make sure we actually have our nice looking siding. We have spent this much time making a village, we are not going to miss out on it. There we are. And obviously we need that last workstation. We don't ever want to forget that final extra workstation. Now we can assign our person. There we go. Now we should be set, but I do need a better ads for that. Now I'm going to make some paper bark because we are too shy right now of paper, and I don't want to have that be a part of our next part of our rotation. This way we can set everything forward and we're good to go. Right now with all this straw and having these two stations here, this is exactly what I wanted it to do, which is now we're getting 200 straw every time I check this, and that's really helpful. Alright, the other thing I want to do, which is missing in the last correction to this setup, now that we have a large collection of resources here, is related to this person. It's time to build yet another woodcutter's hut here. Since this is the source of all of our paper trees, then we are going to need to be sure that we are constantly fueling this region's need for more paper trees. Right about here. Alright, and with this will lock in our production of paper logs and complete everything we could possibly need. And I do very much love the style of these. Oh, nice. I love the style of the roofs with the straw. It looks so nice. And another thing that could be really convenient is just to have somebody making sticks, so that we can have that as less of a need. And as we get higher and higher in population, you find, and I'm sure you've noticed this as well as you get to high numbers, that at some point you just don't need all the people and all the workstations, and they start to become extra. And that just taking care of these little bits are minor inconveniences. So having a worker take care of it. Oh, hi. You are friendly, aren't you? Yeah. Good to see you. Thanks for coming. Alright, now let's get our person into a workstation. Time to take care of the last possible need we could have for woodworking. Which is to say, more paper logs, one more worker here. I guess they could do sticks and a few other things, but it won't be heavy on sticks because we just don't need that many. Alright, now we've been starving poor Kuroi-Ran, who is not unfamiliar with wandering the world and being hungry. So to her, it's just a matter of taking care of the needs that need to be taken care of first. Priorities are based upon needs, and eating is important, obviously. Her strength is important, but it's easy for her to give to help the others around her. Now, it'd be tempting to go to Aratani to see if I can get more lotus root, but I think we're going to be stuck. And tomorrow, we'll have to revamp our production so that we can be sure that we're getting the lotus seeds used for mosquito repellent and not using up all of our lotus root, which is clearly at its end now. Tell you what, while we're traveling back, and part of this whole readjusting supply chain is because of issues like this, where I just don't have enough chisel stone sitting around. It's time to be sure that we do. Winter is a great time to construct, to build, to expand. Perfect, a farming trader. Oh, and I couldn't have asked for better. Chrysanthemum is worth it. I mean, it's cheap. Costs you nothing. Might as well have it. Rice is always good. There's no reason not to. And you, the general trader. Oh, nice, Inari statues. Iron adzes, those are good. I could always... Ooh, boiled paper bark. I'm okay with that. Not a bad price, and we're sitting on a bit of money, it turns out. I wouldn't mind taking the leather as well, and the chiseled stone. It's expensive, but obviously we have money. Not like we're struggling for cash, and with these, you know, honestly, watch this. There, I've sold all my writs, and I'm still sitting at 13,000. I can still buy these up, and I'm still at 13,000. And the funny thing is that all of these Way of the Monk, all of the things that we get for Way of the Monk, oh my goodness. That was 3 levels we just gained here. My goodness, I mean, that's just crazy. Steel Resolve, maximum poise increases, that's a big deal. And especially since we're going to try to duel poise armor increases versus poise increases. I think they're the same thing, aren't they? But this is obviously stronger, so we'll go with the route. I mean, more training is a big deal. I think I maxed out my hit points already, right? Yeah, there wasn't another one. Let's do this. Let's max out poise, because we are going to try to duel the end bosses. That's going to be our goal. Decent farmer and master builder. I can't possibly get to them. Efficient farmer. I could have an efficient lumberjack. Sure, more resources. I've been chopping trees. And security distribution, I think, is a handy one because it's one that you can't really do much else with. And I think maintenance is my key one to do first, because I do not want... If I want more chiseled stone, this is the source, because it's a part of my maintenance needs. There we are, look at that. Much better. Heating needs are still high. I tell you, that's going to be taking more fishing workstations. And that's definitely a worthwhile thing. It's late. Let us rest. Oil is definitely the best route to get there, unfortunately. Rope is cheap. That'd be worth it. This is even... Oh, well, see, now this is... That's just what you gotta do. All of that stuff is at such a low price that it's silly not to buy it. Alright, let's rest this night away, and then move on to following day and push on. See, we're sitting on 75 chiseled stone. We've got a decent amount of steel, but we need to get more. And the thing that's nice right here, that's a huge amount of stone. So we are clearly in a spot where I can start rotating people out of these workstations. Full 8 hours of rest. For once. There we are. Now we have more people. And what's great about having more people is that I just assigned 2 of my workers to be stonemasons in Player Village 3. Aptly named. I have them now as my stonemasons here, and now I can easily assign yet another stonemason. And now you'll see that we're draining this, but the amount of stone that it takes to get into that is low. It should be manageable. We now have a good setup where we can just let things go. We're also at the point where you might notice that we are... Oops, there we go. Hey, Taco, what are you doing? Doing pretty well on this. The thing that stands out, so I noticed in just my doing my work to get the special projects video done, is that if you get yourself a kama and you just go into the area over here when there's grass, you could have hundreds. Even Sasogi itself has hundreds of grasses that you can just take at any time. I'd be tempted to gather some ice up before the end of the season, but really, oh, that's a problem. See some people sitting across the waterway. 1 stone arrow, no thank you. I see some people across the way. They've set up a small scouting camp not too far away from our village, so let's take care of that. Have them join us on the ice. It'll make for a really entertaining fight. Oh, you poor thing. Not brave enough to stand on the ice, are you? Too bad for you. Oh my. Huh, I guess they just don't feel comfortable standing on the ice. That makes that rather easy. Poor things. Alright, then. Half bows. Now that could be convenient for earlier in the game when you need to bring a half bow to our friend Fujichi. Alright, with that, we have a number of things we can do. But we also need to get ourselves steeled and ready for taking back some of the regions. I think Aratani is next. The next logical progression. It is also worthwhile since we have, there we go, we're going to buy the fishing boat. We have a number of things we've been trying to do. I wonder if it's all because of ice. Yeah, I bet you it's just because of the ice for the season. We'll come back later for that then. Clearly there's room for another workstation though. Find you another person we can put here, and then we can get more oil. There we are, in one miner's place here. We'll have to clean that one up and move it out of here. I don't really want to have that here in the future. We'll make our villages kind of fit with what they are. You know, we gotta be running to the end of our grass at some point here. Let's check what we have on us. Plenty of healing compresses. All of the fanciest of tools. All of the fanciest of weapons. Longbow could use more, but that's okay. But we also have just an iron head. There we go. Do we want to bring in the Tengu mask? That could be fun. Curious, let's compare some things. So that's 8 and 16. This is 10 and 20. 16 and 33, of course. Encumbrance value of 1. Encumbrance 0.6. Okay, so this will slow us a bit. Well, let's do this. Now we are the Steel Ashigaru. The Steel Ronin, if you will. Oh, hey, you friend. I have exactly the right job for you. There, excellent. And let's get our fishing station up and online. Here we are. Oil. All manner of oil. How are we doing for heating? Not bad. Not bad at all. Now, if I remember right, we also had a reworking that we need to do in our paper area. Well, that's right, we are shy a piece for that. That's okay. Good. This is the key. Do we have enough here? Do both of our boilers have the same level? Yeah, we're good. Alright, with that, we're going to need to take out some enemies here. We'll do a first skirmish. We're going to try to... It's going to be the morning. Now, attacking in the day is a thing. Attacking at night is obviously better. In the daytime, they're going to have an easier time shooting, taking us down. So what we're going to do is we're going to say that in this, that this is a practice we would have noticed in some of the trainings that Akko would have gone through and trainings that she shared with Kuroi-Ran. That an effective way to end an army, especially one that's loosely organized, is to disrupt supply lines. So today, the Ashigaru are on the move. We'll say that they are off to do something. Perhaps they're heading over to the coastal swamps region to take back the region, to kind of oppress back away and into it and gain a foothold there so that they can establish rule. What we're going to say is that in the process of them making that attempt, that they're going to leave their camp a little underguarded, a little less than well defended. And that's going to allow us the opportunity we need. Free this area. Oh my. First things first, since they know their forces are out, they're going to definitely have scouting parties to be sure that there's no ne'er-do-wells in the area trying to cause trouble, disrupt their region. And unfortunately for them, what seems like just one person who could easily be stopped is actually two. Let's try our blocking skills. Let's see what we can do against you, sir. Ooh. There we go. I'll get the end of you, sir. Alright, now their weapons are not the best, but it doesn't mean we can't take them and make use of them. Now this, Simple Tanto? Oh, nice, good. A better weapon than I've seen before here. There we are. With that, so that's 4 Ashigaru down. Now this, clearly they're spending a lot of resources here knowing that there are concerns that somebody could come from this region. This is the most direct route to their area. It would make sense to defend it. Now we've had... I will just, yeah, okay. Just take down the boar real quick here. No need to have trouble with the boar. I would say that the armor is already doing something wonderful for us. We took a hit there, and it barely even shows. And here we are. A camp under, defended, and set with opportunity. I do not want to go straight at it. Obviously, that'd be the kind of move that somebody would do who thinks they're going to be invincible. And obviously, that is not the way things work. But we just need to find a route that we can disrupt them. I would say that it's better not. And yes, in the wintertime, it's also important to note that in the wintertime, things are slippery. Right, as we continue breaking the camp, here's what the plan will be for how this goes down and how we can make sense out of this. This is Kuroi-Ran's work to take care of this part of the camp while the soldiers are out, and Akko is going to be running a small army at this point, so it'll be a first experience for her. The village said it had, well, we have had a number of villagers, I should say, who have said that they're deserters. So what we're going to say is that we are fueling a resistance, and that this is us taking our first moment to have our own individual troops come back into the world of war and strike at some enemies and take back the Nata Valley and have a chance to maybe take the yoke off the oppressors who have been stealing their lands from them. There we go. Good for you. And with that, with the camp in disarray and with us having put them in a spot where it's hard for them to recover from this loss, well, sorry, their soldiers returning, that is, and the loss of the many soldiers here and the absolute chaos that they'll experience here, what we'll do is we'll have Akko between Aratani and the coastal swamps. She is going to create we're going to create a fire between the range that'll look very clearly like it's coming from the camp. That'll be the end of that. Well, better yet, let's say that the fire will be set here, so that actually all we have to do is have Kuroi-Ran set up the fire here, So we're just going to go in. We're going to take down as many of the enemies as we need, and then we're going to set fire to the guard towers, or at least as many of them as we can get away with. Well, 2 of them will be a little tricky. Oh, perfect. Now, I've noticed with these guys that you have to be a little ahead with their blocks. There we go. So with a lot of the other weapons, I've noticed that you don't have to be as in front of the block, whereas with the Kenobo, you actually have to be a little ahead of the block in order to make it most successful. We end up with a lot of meals while we're on about. So, oh, a bandit, nice. Actually, this bandit is rather well armored, it turns out. Wow, this bandit is really well armored. Oh, you know what it is? I bet you I have really junky arrows on. Alright, now, of course, the biggest piece of advice that Akko would have given her is don't overassume your capacities. This guy's aggressive. That'll take care of him, though. Right, and be concerned for your own safety, and always be mindful of how many you take on at once. This will be hard for Akko, because her leaving Kuroi-Ran for this big of a fight and having to do her own work is her trusting that she'll be alright, which is obviously somewhat suspect. Perhaps? There we go. Oh, and he turned into a thug when he died. I get a kick out of that. So you remember he was a bandit before? Now he's a thug. Well, let's see here. And you'll slowly slide down the ramp. It is much better having steel arrows and having master arrows than it is bronze. That was the big difference we were seeing before with the hit point drop, was that I was using bronze arrows against that opponent at the end. Alright, now, with the village as it is to say a number of our villagers are busy. Here, actually I should do that. We will take a number of these and just not have them have a job, I suppose. Let's do that. Okay, with that, I have left a small band. Oops, that's a better band. So now we have 10 of us unemployed, 10 against a small military, but we're really just trying to force them into disarray and make it so that we have more time for Kuroi-Ran to do the work here. So that we can set things off, and when they come back to this area and they see that things are completely wrecked, they'll be more disorganized and easier to take down. And this is a long camp to take. Lucky for us, there's not as many here. Okay. It'll do a nice side dodge, but then there won't be much left after that. Here we're starting to get awful crowded weaponry. Now this will be the largest conflict. Oh my. This will be the largest conflict I think we have had in a while. And this camp will bring back a lot of memories of, unfortunately, the passage of time coming into this area. And the fall of Ichizen, which Mako and Kuroi-Ran were unfortunately having to flee from what was their stable home. Because ultimately, Oda did return to Ichizen and was successful in taking it. And that is, in our timeline, not far from this exact date. Oh wow, that last arrow I thought would have done good. There's one pinch of health left. Should probably not get greedy. There we go. Gotta not get greedy with the attacks, because that's what's actually gonna get me killed. Alright, now, sorry about the break in the video here. I did record this over 2 days and over 2 sessions within one of those days, so there's going to be a break in the video. Now, let's go and let's wrap this up. Oh my. Ah. Shouldn't be far from the Ashigaru leader. There we are. Now, as we get closer, see the tower that we need to take down. Have I gone too far? I am just going to drop these arrows, honestly. I do not want the bronze arrows to become an option. Ah, there's our destination, straight up here. Oops, that's going to be the daily production right there. Right in the middle of running. Not the best timing. Yeah, that's a rough timing. There we go. That's a good one right there. There we go. You go ahead and take a seat, friend. Alright, now we should be. Oh my, there's a good deal of enemies left. I don't think we're going to struggle for having to take. Okay. Oh man, that was a bad one. Holy cow, we just alerted the entire camp to our presence. I really need to get better at switching weapons. Oh, you can block arrows. I forgot about that. That's right. Block your arrow. There we go. Now we're getting some practice in too. Some practice before we actually take on the boss. Now, those copper arrows are a problem. Definitely don't need those in my inventory. I need you to take out your katana there, friend. There we go. Oops, that's not. Dang, that's too bad. I was looking for the dashing. There we go, and let's get just a bit more. Man, another bandit over there too. That'll do. Okay, we're going for the quick attack and catch him off guard. And as evening falls and she's getting exhausted from the fight, this will be when the army has probably figured out that things are not quite what they seem, and that there's really nothing to take from that area, and then they're reestablishing, and the rumors that there was a large army in the eastern swamp is nothing, and that perhaps a scout has come back. Although that would assume that they're actually more organized. I'm not convinced they would be. Right. Now, time for that fight. Now we'll get a start on you. Nobo is a good weapon in theory. Resist a Tetsubo. Interesting. Oh, I must be out of that particular wrap. Now, one of the problems we have with this guy's weapon is that it actually factually does damage no matter what. So it goes straight through blocks, which is good for him. Ooh, and that's gonna cause us some trouble. That'll do. Holy cow. That was tricky. Alrighty, now we've unlocked Sucho, which is awesome. And now have another area that we can take and expand into. And that was a great fight. There we are. Did we get it all? We have it all. Whew. Well, with taking down the lieutenant here, who is not necessarily the lead here, we'll say that the lead, we could tie this into the, look at that, steel armor. And better steel, which is great. Not something we necessarily need. Alright. Okay, there we go. I needed to clear out my inventory just a bit. We're good to go. With that, we'll set fire to the tower. And as the army has been marching in, we'll let the fire start to spread. It'd be even better that it's evening. So then what we'll have happen here is that the army that was marching into, oh, and I love this, that you can actually see that they've been clear cutting to try to build this camp up. So that the army, as they're marching further to the coastal swamp area, and now they'll see those fires, and it'd be very clear that things aren't going well back at home. I've never actually gone back here, so I was very curious what's here. And with that, as they return, we will catch them in disarray here. We'll have our ambush waiting for them atop the hills. We'll pepper them with arrows from range, and this blizzard will cause even more problems. Of course, it'll cause problems for us too, but at this point, that's going to be enough to dishearten the army. It's going to be enough to cause some to run, and that's more than what we need. That is exactly what we were hoping for. Having all of them stay and defeating each and every single one of the Ashigaru is not actually the goal here. The goal is to set them off so much so that there's nothing more that they can do, and that they choose to disengage and leave. And the army just becomes rabble. We'll finish off this area in here, and for me, for Kuroi-Ran, It's just a matter of coming through here and finishing off the last ones. Ah, bronze arrows, no. Are. Nice. Now here we are. We've liberated yet another region. I don't think we need those. There we are. I get such a kick out of the fact that they go from being bandits to thugs. In death. It was thug life the whole way. They appeared to be a bandit, but deep inside, they were always a thug. There we are. And let's finish this off. I tell you, the armor is great. Well, if I can't take it, I'll eat it. Weakness meds are really good. Definitely don't need these. Oil lamps will be better. Now we're on the way to wrapping this whole camp, honestly. And I will not end up looting everything, and I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm curious. Are y'all people who loot every last bit? Do you get every last bit of loot, or do you find that you don't actually need it? I end up finding that it's not necessarily worth it. There. A well-timed block goes a long way. How many more of these people are there? Let's see. Ooh, that's the nicest ones. I suppose we can get pearls just about anywhere. That's worth it quite a bit. Look at that, 1,100. Crazy. Now, well, it's not our people's job to take out every enemy. We do need to be sure that we keep them safe on their return. And this is the returning army. So we'll say that this is the force returning, and that I have... Ooh, arrow in my face. Whoa, I need to get out of this area. It may not be wise to stay for this entire fight. Let's bring them somewhere where we can handle this. Alright, it's looking like it's time to make a tactical retreat. Not smart to stay in a fight that you know you're not going to win. Ooh, it helps to block on time too. I mean, as much as I give myself a hard time about that, it really is a big deal. There we go. And we've only nearly died a ton of times. It helps to get those blocks in. My goodness, see how much easier it is there. Samurai will be tough, that's for sure. And that's going to be a full-on army. There we go. We'll keep taking that poise. Oops. Ooh, he's great at blocking. And his poise doesn't even go down when he does. Nice. You're good, buddy. You're good. That's going to be unfortunate for you. I do appreciate that they take extra damage at that point. Okay, have we gotten to the point where we can take off from here? Are we not done yet? Still 3 more. Well, it looks like we're going to be facing them just with the sword. There we are. Oops, not what I'm looking for. There we go. Just 1 soldier to go. There we are. Oh, we need to return. Oh, there's still another one over there. Goodness me. Ooh, there's still 2 more. And he's hiding inside the bamboo. I think we can get rid of the fat for now. Probably could get rid of the fur too. That's it. Okay. Now, let's get our last ones. If we're imagining that this is our whole village being put into this effort, then we really do need to make sure that we actually take them out. Good effort on your part, but unfortunately, doomed. And they're all bandits that are left, huh? Ah, there we are. That's the satisfying end. And that marks an entirely cleared camp. And we can move on. No, and I had no room. I thought I had 1 more space left. Alright, let's return home. After a mighty victory and an army in disarray. And of course, them coming back and seeing so many people slaughtered, seeing the place on fire, leads them to think that this place had actually more soldiers in it than there are. And that deception alone is enough to set the Ashigaru off into the distance, and it's a matter of picking them off one at a time. So even though we have a ragtag group of, 10 villagers doing work against a group of probably 40 or more, small band, then we'll be able to, they'll be able to take them off bit by bit by bit as they return. I would like to have gotten myself a second longbow for this trip. We don't need a wolf to be the reason that we don't make it home. There we are, and we'll take a nice walk in the winter. There we are. 1 less wolf. Looks like we're gonna face a few wolves. Lots of them, as a matter of fact. That running power attack is just fine. Tell you what, speaking of which, how many points of... Oh, here we go, look at that. Look at skin. No. Now, Master, now this would be nice. I think I actually kind of want that now. We have a lot of the very best things. Light armor effectiveness increased. I think we're in heavy armor now. Decrease in encumbrance is good. That. Base armor value is higher. That's open. Unwavering poise is huge, though. I want to finish that one off just like I started before. And at this point, we're good. There we go. Now we can do massive poise damage to enemies. Every time we block, we're setting them off. That should make the samurai fights a little easier. Now, as we travel our way home, this is an exhausting battle. And taking on an entire group of, even a small battalion of Ashigaru is no simple thing, and not something that Akko and Kuroi-Ran take lightly, and this is a culmination of practice and skills over time. They've never actually, this I would say in their backstory, they've never at any point been involved in any large-scale events. They've never had a reason that they could. their reason to flee Ichizen is the fact that they knew there was no way to win the battle. The forces that were going to come in, Oda's desire to quash out the Ikoiki rebellion and put an end to the thorn in the side from the start of his efforts, is too strong, and his presence, his military, is overwhelming. It was not something that they could allow to happen. But to be backed into this corner in the Nata Valley, to be backed into this corner, to be rescuing people, to be pushing back against all of the efforts to oppress, to liberate these areas, to free these people from the challenge of this time. To put it lightly, the challenge is the oppression, the overlords who simply take everything they have. It's too much, so this has to be their stand. Free the people here. Or drove you out. Right. Well, and as you see the homes burning from a distance from here, or at least the watchtowers, be a reminder that we are taking the fight back to them. I needed to reassign some workers, so I did a little work reassigning people. We are also going to head back, and we need another watchtower, as we are now at a point where we need way more security presence, and that's going to be taken care of by that one more tower. It would be good to have one over in this region. We already have one on the right hand side here. I would like something watching over where the old stronghold for the deserters was. Then we absolutely need to get our character back for rest. I mean, this is quite a day, quite a night. Now, since we were able to have the project finished before we took out the bandit, or the Ashigaru leader, that allowed us to wrap up that quest rather quickly. And that helps a lot when you finish the projects before doing the other liberation conditions. That way you have the reward right away. Okay, let's see if we can fit in this space here. And we're not going to have room for it. That's okay. Oh, perfect. There we are. Now we can actually assign somebody to it. Ooh, maybe not, actually. I have another house in Kaiho. Alrighty, let's rest, and then we'll come back and we'll finish up another home. Looks like it's time to start focusing on building this area up. That's going to be the next big idea, big concept to do, because we have a lot of room to expand. And the healing compresses finally faded. Alright, let's get out here and get our people ready. Take on some others. It's supposed to go to the beverage storage. My bad. It's not the hugest deal in the world, but it's just the right thing to do, right? Always put things away the right place. And then back to our simple outfit. Back to who we are. And more people we can take on is always good. Now this area, we're already starting to feel very much like a city, because of how close together things are here. We'll continue that approach here with this home. And just made a massive amount of planks. Next I'll do a massive amount of sticks, so that there's not this delay in making things here. Oh, we should actually have way more straw now. Ah, it's the sticks. Yeah, okay. I might have gone overboard, but now I have 1,000 sticks. Yeah, that's happening. I'm not going for sticks anymore. This is not happening again. I am Done. Done, done, done. By the way, if you press F, you can actually switch those out after you've made them. There we go. Now we're talking. Okay. Where's our new person? Come on over here. We need somebody to do security work. You don't want to go back. Soldiers came. It's that chance. But where would you go? You go here. And we'll find a home for you. And easily so. Because now we have, ooh, so many more places for you to be. Ooh, she gets the steel clad Kanumba. Probably shouldn't let her. Well, who cares? We have all the steel in the world. I'm not going to stress about who gets what weapon. Although if you want to be clever about it, it's probably better not to just let them have that. And honestly, the half bows are great. Bows make more sense. Alright, now we just need to wrap up some of these positionings for people. Alright, all jobs are assigned. The one thing I want to do is I want to put the Shusho distillery up somewhere into our sake filtration area. Yeah, because I think that'll be good. It will be worthwhile for us to have just so that we have the best of all beverage makers already going. And it makes good money, right? There we are. Now for that last piece of furniture. There we go. Shusho distillery. Yeah, all these things are in rough places. Let's just reorganize a bit. No, I think, honestly, I think the better place to put a lot of these is just on the outer place. Since it doesn't matter, it's not going to count for or against you at all. So better off having them out here, just so we can get at them. Wood is probably the most useful one to have available to pick up. What I could do with these, though, I could rotate them. It's easy to pick things up and put them back down here. I am not sure why tool storage here, but it's one of our further and most advanced buildings, so it does make some sense, I suppose. Beverage storage, we can keep that in here. That tends to be useful. Food storage is fine too. And there we go. Now we have tons of space. Now we can be a little more strategic and put things. Probably should make sure the stairs actually make sense where they're going, right? There we are. Then with this, Shusho. There we go. Now we can actually start making this stuff. There we go. And we have the process started. We can also get workers on it. That'd be just fine. But for now, it's going to be good the way it is. As far as our needs are concerned, we're doing great on food. We're going to do not so great on oil for a little while, but we are sitting on a lot of fish. And next season, we're going to make sure to grab a large amount of worker stations. Since we have that whole waterway, right now we can't build them in the wintertime just because we are, yeah, frozen lake and all. We will have to do that in spring. So with this, I'm gonna mine us some ice so that we have plenty on hand. That way we're good to go. And maybe it'd be worth double checking some of our things here and seeing what we can do with this square. Wouldn't be bad to have another set of trade stations, right? I'm thinking blacksmithing goods could be good, handy. Let's see here, this was already a smithing goods, and this is going to be one that has a lot of resources to it we need. Not quite, actually. Tell you what, we're doing this based upon what we think we might need. I like the farming goods trader the most. That will allow us to buy bags if we need it, and also canola. There we go. Now I see an opportunity right here. Rather than having my Ibishu statue sitting right here, I wonder if I can fit it right here by the tree. I was debating whether I could fit a large here, but I think the medium will do fine. There we go. See, now we're talking. Now we're talking, because that gives us Ibishu right in the middle of our trade area, really emphasizing the idea. Okay, with that, we have a tavern here, great place for people to gather. Probably be smart to have a kitchen out front of it. Let's do that. And then we do have to think about where we're going to put our mansion, because why wouldn't we? We may not need to. Let's see here, kitchen can be... I'd be tempted to say that the kitchen could be in the back area, so that food can be brought between the place. And we could also put a door there. But it's actually at the edge of our build range. So I would actually have to put it here amongst the trees. I think we should have something near the water that takes care of things. I wonder, could we have actually had that bell here, or could we move the well and make some better space here? Let's try. And I make the kitchen work here. I think it's going to turn out due to... I don't think so. I think our buildings are in the way. But if I could fit it, how cool would that be? Alright, that took way too long. I didn't want you to have to stare at this whole thing the whole time. Fantastic. Now, no, we're not going to be having that kind of entryway. Instead, perhaps... Oh, I couldn't put a ramp. I was hoping I could put a ramp on the side, but we'll find a way around it. Oh, no, no, no. We do not build anything other than the fanciest. Now, we actually could have had a walkway here, go to here. Would have been good. Keep it simple for now. And then let's get this locked in. I need to finish the structure before I can make edits. There. And there'll be your production. And that'll be the end of the season. There we are. Alright, now we do have the oil press in the other area, so I am not going to actually do anything with oil presses in this area. Instead, can we have a big cooking hearth? Oh, that's a bummer. So it's too bad. The fire... It'd be nice if this station could actually have... It'd be nice if we actually could have the bigger cooking pot here. I would love that. And this apparently is only an outside area here thing. Okay. It's fine. Then if this is going to look like a storage area, then it's going to be a storage area. There we have it. It's too bad that we can't do more with this. Oh, we'll keep it as a decorative structure. And the idea that we actually have a kitchen here properly. Alright. Yes. Apparently we're going to have a bush in the way. There we are. With that, we have made it to the end of winter. We have yet another area liberated. Aratani is a big deal. It is nice to see that we've gotten this area set. The only thing left is to take on Temple. We have already defeated more than enough Ashigaru. I believe it. I absolutely believe it. The only thing we have to do is take out Samurai and defeat the Samurai leader, and that is going to be a really hard fight, unfortunately. It'll be time for us to build a village out here. I think this is it. We build our massive trade village out here, and then that is our connection to the outside world. It's either that, or we consider just putting ourselves out to this region. We wouldn't need a second bell. The problem is, our bell only reaches out to about here. So we would already be in this region, but I don't know. I wouldn't want to move away from the workstation. That's kind of a part of why we did that. So I think we'll put a second bell up here. Let's check where we got to today. 19 or 17, not quite to 19 yet. We have a few buildings we can do to actually get that set, and obviously we can always take on more villagers. Oh, looks like I did not assign you. That's Disappointment Alley. The only thing left to do that would be worthwhile would be to finish some sort of project up somewhere out there, but we've finished a great deal of these projects, so I'm just going to mine me some ice, and then I'm going to call it quits. Having extra ice will just be a good thing for the next season, so we have it all set to go. We have a good deal of it, but this is the only time that winter will be around, so it's important to take advantage of it while we have it. We can wrap this up. And then continue on the storyline. We're nearing the completion, and the things to tie up in the storyline are the fact that in the time that we've been here, in the timeline that we've been existing in the Nata Valley, this is the time where Ichizen actually is going to fall in our parallel to the history of Japan, and that this is going to be a following up to Akko leaving our village, and I'll have a story behind why she leaves and exactly where she ends up going and how she ties into the greater storyline of Japan at the time. And obviously it won't be over the top, but still grand in its own sense, right? If it's supposed to be a fantastic story, let's make sure it's fantastic. Thank you for joining me for this episode, and thank you for joining me for the series. I apologize that I lost my notes and that I had all these detailed notes written out and still haven't found them. Not the most helpful thing, but I've been able to remember a number of the details to allow to continue the storyline. Take care and enjoy your playthroughs, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.